Ebuka Okeke was a stubborn, curious 16-year-old boy. Every night, his parents repeated the same warning, hoping their words would sink deep into his heart. Ebuka, never blow your whistle at night. It's not allowed, his father said seriously, eyes narrowing with concern. It brings danger, his mother added softly, but firmly, wrapping her arms around him as she spoke. The whistle was a small wooden thing, handed down from his grandfather. It was smooth and cracked in places, worn by years of use, but it still gave a clear, sharp note when Ebuka blew into it. The old stories said it was special, too special to be used carelessly. Ebuka didn't fully understand why it was forbidden. The warning made the whistle more mysterious, more tempting. "Why can't I blow it?" he asked one evening, holding the whistle close. "Because some things are better left silent," his father said. "That sound, it calls things best left alone." But Ebuka's mind churned. What could be so dangerous about a whistle? He dreamed of answering the call himself, of discovering the truth hidden in the night. One moonless night, when the village was silent and everyone slept, Ebuka crept outside, clutching the whistle tightly. The air was thick and still. Even the crickets had stopped singing. His heartbeat echoed in his ears. He glanced left and right. No one was near. Taking a deep breath, he raised the whistle to his lips and blew once. The sharp sound pierced the silence. Immediately, the wind shifted. A cold breath swept through the trees, bending their branches as if the forest itself had awakened. Shadows flickered and stretched, and faint, glowing eyes appeared just beyond the edge of the firelight. Ebuka's skin prickled with fear. A whisper floated on the breeze, barely audible, yet unmistakable. He dropped the whistle and ran inside, heart pounding and breath ragged. Unseen by him, far beyond the village, something old and restless stirred awake. Morning light felt heavy on Ebuka's eyelids. His mind replayed the night's events in a loop. Was it real? Had the spirits truly awoken? Or was it just a nightmare? At school, his friends noticed his quietness and pale face. "You okay, Ebuka?" they asked, but he just shrugged. "Don't be a scaredy cat," teased Chike. "You're always talking about your grandfather's old whistle like it's magic." Ebuka didn't answer. That night, the village lay silent again, but to Ebuka, the silence was filled with whispers. He held the whistle tightly in his palm, the rough wood grounding him. The voices called softly, pulling at his thoughts. Unable to resist, he slipped outside once more. The moon was hidden behind clouds, and the night was darker than before. He lifted the whistle and blew again, this time louder, stronger. The sound echoed between the trees and hills, a long call that vibrated in his chest. From the shadows, voices answered. Clearer now, they whispered his name, calling him closer. The air grew cold, and the shadows crept forward like living things. Ebuka's legs trembled. The spirits had answered. He barely made it back to his hut before his legs gave out, collapsing onto the floor as the voices followed him, seeping into his dreams. Ebuka lay awake under his mat, hands trembling as the voices whispered endlessly in his ears. "Why did you call us?" One voice hissed. "Child of Anamba, you have awakened us." Another whispered. He tried to block them out, but they spoke inside his head, louder than any scream. Days passed, and Ebuka changed. His eyes grew distant and vacant, as if someone else was looking through them. He muttered strange words in the middle of the night, wandering outside without knowing where he went. His mother noticed first. "Ebuka, what's wrong?" she asked softly, her eyes full of worry. He gave no answer. The whispers had taken hold. Ugochi, his best friend since childhood, grew alarmed. One evening, she followed him quietly as he walked toward the edge of the forest. He stood motionless, staring at the starless sky. "Ebuka," she called gently. He turned slowly, eyes black and empty, before collapsing into her arms. "They won't rest," he whispered hoarsely. "Not until they're free." Frightened, Ugochi ran to his parents. "Something is terribly wrong," she said. "We need help." Ebuka's struggle became harder each day. The spirits inside whispered promises of power and secrets, their voices a constant pull on his soul. Sometimes he felt invisible hands gripping his mind, dragging him toward the forest's darkest places. One afternoon by the river, the shadows tempted him to throw the whistle into the water, to let the spirits claim him. But with a fierce effort, Ebuka dropped it on the bank. The spirits shrieked in fury, their voices echoing like thunder in his head. His knees shook as he ran back to the village. He was no longer alone in his body. The spirits fought for control. Word spread quickly. "Look at Ebuka," the villagers whispered. "He walks like a ghost." "His eyes have no light," another murmured. His father's face darkened with worry. "Son, this must end. Tell me what is happening." But Ebuka only shook his head, trapped inside the spirit's grip. Ugochi remained by his side, holding his hand, whispering words of comfort. "We will find help," she promised. Ebuka stopped eating. At night, strange voices spoke through him. "Return our memories," said a deep voice not his own. One morning, his father found him speaking to an empty corner, his eyes glazed. His mother wept. "We need help," she said. At dawn, they went to Mama Chioma, the village healer. She arrived quickly, carrying bundles of herbs and sacred powders. Placing a cool hand on Ebuka's forehead, she listened to the voices no one else could hear. "The spirits are trapped inside him," she said gravely. "Only the living can set them free. This burden is too great for one family," she added. "The whole village must come together." The next morning, the village gathered at Ebuka's hut. Mama Chioma had summoned the elders. Some faces were stern, others fearful. "Why did this boy bring trouble upon us?" an elder muttered. "That boy is stubborn," another said. "Now we all suffer." Mama Chioma raised her hand for silence. "No blame. We must help him and the spirits." Ebuka stood trembling, weighed down by the spirits' whispers. "We want to be remembered," they said softly. His father's eyes filled with pain. "You did not listen, son. Now we all pay." The villagers lit fires and sang ancient songs. Elders shared forgotten stories. As the memories rose, the air grew lighter. Yet Ebuka's body convulsed. Ebuka screamed, writhing on the ground. "Let us rest," one spirit cried through him. The sky darkened. Thunder rolled. Wind howled through the village. Villagers joined hands, chanting prayers. "Remember who you are, Ebuka. Don't let them win." Mama Chioma shouted. Ebuka's eyes cleared for a moment. "Help me," he cried. Mama Chioma threw white powder into the air. "Ancestors, guide him." Suddenly, Ebuka collapsed. Silence fell. The wind stopped. The sky cleared. Slowly, Ebuka opened his eyes. "I remember," he whispered. "I remember them all." The villagers stood silent. Mama Chioma nodded. "The spirits are at peace." Ebuka wept. I never meant to hurt anyone." His father embraced him. "You've learned. That is what matters." That night, the village danced and shared stories of those long forgotten. Ebuka sat beside Ugochi, watching the fire. "I will never forget," he said. She smiled. "Good. Next time, listen to your parents." Ebuka smiled back, but deep inside, fear lingered. He would never blow the whistle again. Years passed. Ebuka grew old and wise. Each evening, he sat by his window, watching the sun dip behind the hills. "I will always respect our ways," he whispered. He never touched the whistle again, and the village remained safe, forever remembering the night the spirits were set free.